How can a game have such boring, repetitive combat, and yet have some of the deepest story that really blew me away?
Mama.
Wait, what?
Your leg.
What the heck is going on?
Well, that's Remember Me in a nutshell. Remember Me was released in 2013, made by the company Don't Nod Entertainment. This is the same studio that would later make Life is Strange. Remember Me landed right in the middle of that 2010 era of superpowered action games. Think Prototype, Infamous, Batman, even Assassin's Creed. Now on the surface, it looks like another flashy combat brawler with a futuristic setting. I played it as a part of my completionist journey on stream, and while the combat ended up being one of the weakest I've ever had to push through, the story actually really caught me by surprise and gave me more to think about than I expected.
So, what I've figured out with the story... See, I liked the story. The story was pretty good. Like, I liked the theory, the philosophy behind this whole, like, editing memories and, you know, whether it's good or bad. And, like, I'm sure there would be people... If this was real, there'd be people that would try and push it as a good thing. And I could see why and how they would do it. So that part of the story was good, but there was a couple of twists in it, particularly towards the end there, that was really interesting. I think around chapter 6, I was really invested in the story. I was like, oh, I actually think I know what might be going on here, what the twist might be. And I ended up being proven wrong, which is awesome. I love being proven wrong, especially with like story stuff. I hate when it's just predictable, you know? So what I've come to the conclusion is, it's the story and world combined. I think I'm going to make this 15. The reason for it is that up until episode 6, it was kind of mid. Like the story, I didn't really care about the story too much. I just wanted to finish the game, if that makes sense. But once I got to 6, I was actually invested in Nilin, Edge, and who they were or what they were and what was actually going on. So I think 15 is good. I don't think it was just amazing the whole way through, but I definitely think the story of this game was like a strong suit, and the world building was amazing. Like I can't fault that at all. Because this is the best part of the game, I think it earned itself this cute little sticker. The controls, I had a lot of issues with the controls. Mostly when I was like climbing and stuff, you know, you couldn't jump across to another ledge rather easily. Like I kept just vaulting over the wall back and forward. Luckily that it didn't happen too much in the game where I needed to do that, but when it did, it was frustrating. But the big issue is in the combat. It's obviously not a bug, like it was a design thing, but there's certain enemies that you can't melee attack, particularly those robots that like jump and slam you. And if you run up to them in combat, if you're anywhere near them, you can't attack at all, even if there's an enemy right beside you that you can attack. And it was kind of hard to target the right enemies, particularly when you're getting absolutely bombarded. Like you end up just getting absolutely surrounded by heaps of enemies, and it can be hard to make sure that you're targeting the right one. So I'm going to put my controls at about a 5, I reckon. Like all of the controls were where they needed to be, but it was just the way that they implemented them in the game that was a bit janky for me. Now, gameplays and systems, this one honestly is going to be the biggest letdown for this game. And that's purely because the combat in this was just boring as hell. Where do I even start with this? Let's start with a good system. What I liked about the game was the level up system. When you leveled up, it allowed you to buy essentially extra combo button presses, I guess is the way you could say it, which allowed you to put them into and create specific combos for whether it be healing or building up your combo, doing more damage, things like that. So I actually thought that system was good, but I think as a byproduct, it affected how combat was handled as a whole. They introduced new enemy types to force you to use a different combination, because some enemies would damage you if you hit them, so you needed a healing combo to beat them. Some enemies had shields and just stuff like that, so they would constantly be trying to throw stuff at you, like, which I think again was good. But the issue came that to kill the enemies was really repetitive. Like those enemies that damaged you, so you needed to use the heal combo. The healing combo doesn't do a lot of damage, so you dead set get stuck wailing on them for like 20 seconds, and it made the combat just draw out so much. So I reckon And that, to be fair, I was playing on the hardest difficulty, but I reckon if they tightened that up, combat would feel a lot more just progressive, you know what I mean? Like you're actually getting somewhere. And I think there should be more combats, like more fights over the whole entire game. I think a lot of the game, I reckon there was dead set maybe 20 fights in the whole game, especially because I kept dying. So I reckon there was probably more in my game, my playthrough, but there wasn't a lot of fights altogether as well. I think it was mostly a story game that they've thrown these combat elements into, and it sort of let it down a little bit. So I'm going to give this a 5 anyway. Time sync. Now this is a hard one, eh? Because I feel like if they from episode 6 to episode 9 of the game, it was super fun, and I loved it, and I wanted to get back and play it, but 1 to 6 was super boring and a waste of time. Like personally, I wouldn't play this game again. Like I know the story now, so I'm happy with that. And like I said, I think it's a story game that they're throwing combat onto. So I'm going to give this a 15 out of 20, purely because, like, now that I've played through it, I wouldn't play it again 100%, but I think at the time, in order to get to the story, like, it was worth it. And it only took me about, I think it took 8 streams, so it took me 6 streams, so it took me 8 hours to complete the game, which isn't bad at all. Satisfaction. Now, I am not going to score this very high with the satisfaction, honestly. I'm repeating the same stuff over and over again. I really liked the story, but I hated the combat, and getting to the story was frustrating for me. So I'm just going to put the satisfaction level at like a 10, I think. About 1/3. I definitely... Like, I know there's games out there that are going to be way better than this, and I don't want to do them an injustice by ranking this higher than it should be. So I would say it's a great game to play once, but I wouldn't be playing it again. And I'm going to give it a little bit of like a personal feel sticker now. I'm going to give it the Mindbender sticker, because the story just trips you out the whole entire way. Like, it's such a mind-bending game. I absolutely loved it, so I gave it that. But the overall score... Quick math, already done, is 43. 43 out of 100 isn't too bad, friends, particularly for our first game. So, now that we've completed the game, let's update our banner. Now we're gonna, basically, in my banner I've done, this is the picture of my banner. What I'm gonna do is for each game, I'm actually gonna bang a sticker on the board. And here's one that I've created for Remember Me. And eventually what we wanna do is just sticker bomb this whole entire board. Like, it's just going to be filled with all the games that we've completed. So we can only put a sticker on here once we've completed a game. Where do you think we should stick this sticker, guys? You just got to help me. This is an interactive part. Where do we put this thing? You got to help us out. I'm thinking up here, but I'm open to suggestions. Like, the world is our oyster. There's so much room. I think that's a pretty good size too. This is going to look so cool when it's all sticker bombed out, eh?
Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I really appreciate it. If you too want to be a part of this completionist journey and be a part of placing stickers on this board, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like the video. Love you, and I'll see you in the next one.